سبحان الله وبحمده وعدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. Today we are going to start the minor signs of the Day of Judgment. Technically, since we finished the Prophet's story, we're supposed to start the Seerah. And Seerah has a lot of details, which will take up to 3 to 4 months. It took me over 400 pages. So we are going to skip the Seerah because I had a lot of requests about the sign of Day of Judgment Day. We're going to do the signs of the Day of Judgment Day, then we'll do the punishment of the grave and the Jahannam and the Jannah, and then we will go back to do the Seerah. So today we're just gonna do the minor signs that already happened and signs that are happening right now. So we want to talk a little bit about time. Now, philosopher and physicist. So philosopher is a person that wants to understand about something that can work, and physicist is someone who done a theory and it already worked. So philosopher and physicist, they both have friendly rival. And to understand time, so to understand the creation of time, physicists, they need the help of philosopher to understand the creation of time. So in general relativity, where Einstein theory, where gravity is stronger, time moves more slower. And for example, if you weighed 100 pounds on Earth, you would weigh 17 pounds on the moon, and you would weigh 107 pounds on Saturn, and you would weigh 253 on Jupiter. So the more gravity there is, the more you weight. And every large galaxy has a black hole. So, you know, galaxy and universe are a different thing. Universe is the whole samawat, the whole samat of dunya we're living in right now. Galaxies is part. So there's infinite numbers of galaxies. Each galaxy has a black hole. Now the black hole is in the center of the galaxy, and to get to the black hole, it takes 26,000 light year away. To get to the galaxy, it takes 100,000 light year away, and that's with you traveling at the speed of light. Now Earth has 9.7 meter second gravity. That's how much Earth has. Black hole has 1.6 trillion tons of gravity. Now this is a theory, it wasn't proven, and I'm sure you guys maybe heard about the movie or seen it, where it's a theory from scientists, where the Miller planet, which is a planet who is closer to a black hole, and 1 hour on that planet is 7 Earth years. And again, this is a theory, this has not been proven. And in 1915, Einstein theory was time dilation. Basically, the more gravity there is, the less you age. So what is time dilation, and is time dilation real? So in 1971, Joseph the physicist and Richard, they both did a test, okay? So they had 4 automatic clocks, and they had 2 planes. One plane went to the east, one plane went to the west. And they both found the clock disagreeing with each other. So that shows you that time dilation is actually real. It's real, and that's the definition of it. Or for example, if you have 2 twins, one twin is traveling through space, the other twin is on Earth. By the time they meet each other, they both age differently. So that shows that time dilation is real. Now Allah is the creator of time. He created time, and Allah knows best. But perhaps that, because Allah tells us in the Quran that there is other life out there that we don't know about, perhaps time moves differently from them and us. And since we're talking about the hour, which is the Day of Judgment, now our Prophet ﷺ said, "Me and the Day of Judgment were sent together, and I just beat it." So what does that metaphor means? It means that we are towards the end of the time. And there was a day where the Prophet ﷺ, he did a khutbah from Fajr all the way to the Maghrib. He was talking about every single detail that would happen from the beginning to the end. So from the moment of the Prophet ﷺ to a point when we're in right now and what's going to happen after that. And why study the signs of the Day of Judgment? So when you study the signs of the Day of Judgment, it actually makes your iman much more stronger. It boosts up your iman, especially when these signs, you are living in them right now. And the Prophet ﷺ told us, every ummah, every nation, they prayed Fajr, they prayed Dhuhr, and you are the ummah where you're at the Asr and Maghrib is about to come. So Maghrib is the Day of Judgment and Asr. So Asr from Maghrib is barely hour and a half, 2 hours. You are about to meet the Day of Judgment. From the Prophet ﷺ time till now, we're about to meet the Day of Judgment. So think about how long has humans been on Earth? 50,000 years, 60,000 years? Allahu A'lam, but somewhere around that. From now to the Prophet is 1,400 years. And from now to the signs of Judgment Day is very, very close. That's why you hear many, many hadith, the hour is very close. Now, Prophet ﷺ, he made 3 dua. He was granted 2, and 1 he was not granted. The first dua he made, "Oh Allah, do not let any plague or disease destroy my ummah." He was granted. Second dua he made, "Oh Allah, no enemy or tribe will eliminate my ummah." He was granted. Alhamdulillah, there will never be an enemy that would eliminate the whole ummah. You might have part of the ummah fighting, civil war, enemies fighting, but no enemy will ever eliminate the whole ummah. Even when Ya'juj and Ma'juj comes out, the ummah will not be eliminated. As other prophet stories we heard, where the whole ummah got eliminated, we will never be eliminated as ummah. And the third one he made was, "Oh Allah, do not let my ummah fight itself." And that one he was not granted. Fight itself is civil war. And the Prophet ﷺ, he gave us so many predictions about civil war. So many predictions. One was, it's encrypted hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ tells Uthman, "Oh Uthman, you're going to go through a severe trial. And once you have the shirt on here, do not take it off until Allah takes it away from you." So when you interpret that, he's talking about the Khilafah. "Oh Uthman, when you have the Khilafah, when you become a leader, people will come and try to fight you to take it from you. Do not give it to them until Allah takes it away," which he predicted that Allah will take it away. And the Sahaba, so another hadith about the prediction that Prophet ﷺ did, the Sahaba will fight itself. And that was the battle of the camel where they had majority civil war because of the Kharijites, where they started fitna and fasad between them. And also he predicted that Umar will die as a shaheed. Umar radiallahu anh will die as a shaheed. He predicted Abu Bakr will die as a Siddiq, a natural death. And he also predicted Umar will not see any of the fitna in his life. Another prediction was the conquest of Persia. Now Persia was the superpowered world. They were the superpower in the world. And he predicted that the Arabs will actually conquer it, and they conquered it in 632, the fall of the Sassan Empire by Umar ibn Khattab, who Khalid ibn Walid was leading the army. He also predicted the conquest of Jerusalem. Now Jerusalem belonged to the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine, they were the superpower of the world. It got conquered in 638 with Umar ibn Khattab. And Khalid ibn Walid was the head of the army. In 4 years, he fought 9 battles with the Romans, and he annihilated the Romans, and he annihilated the Persians. No one would ever predict. To this day, it's unexplained history. Open the door. I have no idea. Close. So it's unexplained history how a small group of people comes from the desert and ruled the whole world. To this day, historians scratch their head. How did a small group just come out of nowhere and control the whole world? And another prediction was there will be a plague that will come and destroy you and purify your health and your wealth and your children, and you will get good deeds out of it. And that plague happened in Umar ibn Khattab, where it killed a lot of people. It's called the Black Death. Some people call it the Black Death. Another prediction was the separation of the Arab Caliphate. Basically, the Khalifa of the Arab. Basically, Arab will get separated. So Arab, ruled the world for maybe 400 or 500 years. And then you had a Khalifa in Egypt, then you had a Khalifa in Syria, you had one in Iraq, and each one of them are saying, "I am Khalifullah," and it got separated. So from being one ummah, we got separated into different ummahs, different nations. And another prediction which is mind-blowing, and it is the rise of the Atrak. Who are the Atrak? The Atrak are the cousins of the Mongols. That's who are the Atrak. Because as you know, if you read history, Mongols ruled the world very fast within 50 years, and then the Mongols converted to Islam, and then you have the Atrak. Now the Arab never interacted with the Atrak, because the Atrak lived way far. The Arab interacted with the Sassans, which is the Persia. They interacted with the Rome. The Atrak, they were just way too far from their lead. They never met Atrak. So for this prediction to happen, it's mind-blowing, because this prediction happened 700 years before this happened. So these hadith were written down 700 years before it happened. And the hadith is, "Itrukul atrak matarukum." Leave the Atrak alone. Do not fight them, because if you fight them, you will lose. If they fight you, then defend yourself, but do not try to fight the Atrak. And the first Atrak, the first nation it happened, they were in modern Turkey right now, and they were called the Osman Empire. And then in 1299, they got established into the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottoman Empire, they were the first non-Arab Khalifa. And they ruled the world from 1300 all the way to 1900. So the Ottoman Empire was, they ruled Saudi, was Iraq, was Egypt, it was Iran nowadays. And what the biggest shocking in history was the conquest of Constantinople. Now that was a prediction that the Prophet ﷺ, what will make you understand what Constantinople, which is Istanbul nowadays, it was like New York right now. It was the biggest city in the world. So for our Prophet ﷺ to say, you will conquer that city, it was like very hard, it was like mind-blowing that it just happened 700 years later. And it got conquered in 1453 by Muhammad. And the Prophet ﷺ said, what a great army it will be, and what a great commander it will be. And this was, if you look at the 10 biggest shocking history, conquer of Constantinople was one of them. The 10 biggest shocking in history was one of them. And that was predicted with the Prophet ﷺ. Another prediction that we see right now, you will see barefoot shepherds in the desert. They will be competing in tall building. Again, this is encrypted. What does it mean? You will see poor people. Their ancestors were poor, barely have sandals to walk. They will have tall buildings. Now, if you look at so there was an interview in 1940 with a rich billionaire. His ancestor, his dad and grandpa, they were poor. They barely had sandals to walk. Now they have the tallest building in the world. If you Google what is the tallest building in the world, what's going to come up? Burj Khalifa. There you go. That's the tallest. Who could ever imagine? Who could ever imagine this? Even 100 years ago, who could ever imagine this? He also predicted that the Ummah will be a rich Ummah. We will have a rich Ummah. And there was an incident where in Bahrain, there was money coming in from Bahrain. So the Prophet ﷺ wanted to give out the money in Fajr time. And he seen the masjid very, very packed. And he told them, I heard that, you guys heard that I'm giving out the money. I am not worried that you will be a poor ummah. You will be a rich ummah. But what I'm worried is materialistic. You'll become too material. You'll sell yourself for the dunya. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about poverty. I'm not worried about you'll be poor. You're going to be a rich ummah. But that's what I'm worried about. And he also predicted that there will be evil rulers. They will be leading. And he also predicted that the day of judgment will not come until the killer and the one who's being killed don't know why they did it. And what's crazy thing is, never in history did somebody took a knife and start stabbing everybody for no reason. Never in history will somebody take a gun and just kill massive, and the one that got killed doesn't know why, and the one that's killing doesn't know why. That never happened in history. Yes, you had people conquering other lands and killing, but for somebody to be completely psychopath, where he just kill for no reason, that never happened in history. Another prediction, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he made that intercourse will be outside of marriage, will become the norm. It will become completely normal for people to be married and do intercourse outside of marriage. When the Prophet ﷺ conquered Mecca, the famous hadith was, he put a condition: you cannot do intercourse outside of marriage. Hind, who just converted to Islam, said, what kind of condition is this? She was a woman. Who puts this type of condition? She was shocked. How can a woman just sell herself outside of marriage? That didn't exist at the time. Even in this land, in 1940 and 1950, if you want to go on a date with somebody, you have to ask the permission from their parents. This was, even in this land, this was not normal for somebody to go out just out of nowhere. You have to ask permission for their hand. This changed in 1970 and 1980. It became completely normal. With one generation, it completely changed. Even nowadays, if you're a teenager, you're at school, you're not dating, the counselor asks you, is everything okay? 75% of teenagers are intercoursing. 75%. Not even 100 years ago, nobody can imagine that intercourse will be everywhere. It will become the norm. It is normal to do it. Not even in this land. Another prediction was nudity. Nudity will become everywhere. In 1960, it was illegal to do pornography magazine. Not until the Hustler magazine went to Supreme Court and they fought it off, and they overruled, and it became normal. Even in Hollywood, when you watch black and white movie, you don't really see sexual and nudity and all that. Even Hollywood, they weren't allowed to show it. If they show drug use in 1930, they have to show the person suffered. They have to show the concept of doing drugs, you have to suffer. So in black and white, you don't really see that. So that became normal in 1967. It became completely normal, even in Hollywood. Even Disney Channel, every second is boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend. Our Prophet ﷺ said this will become the norm. Intercourse will become completely normal in the world we live in right now. He also predicted taxation and brand of alcohol. Alcohol will have different brands, and it will be everywhere. He also predicted masjid will be built off for showing off, and they'll be empty. So you have a lot of people building masajid, beautiful big masajid, but they're empty. The hearts are empty, but they're done for showing off. He also predicted a slave girl should not give a birth to her. A slave girl should give a birth to her own master. This is very encrypted. What does it mean for a slave girl to give birth to her own master? Our scholar said that basically the child will grow up and he'll become dominant in the house. The child will dominate their parents. 70 years ago, talking about 70 years ago, even in this land, a child would not dare to raise his voice over his parents. This was common. You do not disrespect your parents. Now you go to some household, you don't know who runs the house. Children are dominating their parents. And this was uncommon until the past few generations. Another prediction he made was the increase of shopping centers. There will be shopping centers everywhere. Because back then, classic time back then is one shopping center in each city. Everybody knows there. The prediction was there will be shopping center everywhere you see. Another prediction is obesity. Obesity will become the global brand. Now, 60, 70 years ago, that it wasn't a global brand. It wasn't a global thing. Now obesity is everywhere, to a point where the UN have to monitor the obesity. For the obesity to be everywhere, to be norm, that prediction could not be predicted 100 years ago. If you go back 100 years ago, when many people didn't have fridge, that could not be predicted. Majority of the people was not obese. For it to become global, the whole world to become global, that's a shocking prediction. Nobody could have predicted 100 years ago. Nobody could have even thought about it. Another prediction was the increase of natural calamity and earthquakes. Now, the past 100 years ago, the study of the frequency of the earthquake raised by a lot. That's just the past 100 years. Another prediction, Judgment Day will not come until the Rome dominate the earth. Who are the Romes? Who are the Romes? Modern West, the European salvation. Because back then, Germany, French, it was all villages. It wasn't really a salvation. It wasn't a city. And when they say Rome, the biological of the Romes are the modern West, America, Canada. They all come from that land. Europe. That's all. That's so when I say the Rome, that's what I'm talking about, the modern West. Another prediction is reading and writing will prevail. Now, back then, only 1% can read and write. Majority of the people grow up as farmers, fishermen. So reading and writing will be everywhere. Another prediction is, Ibn Mas'ud said to the Prophet ﷺ, "O Prophet, does the hour have a knowledge that we can know by it?" He said, "Yes, O Ibn Mas'ud. Muslims have to know this sign, so if they meet them, they can recognize them." And one of the predictions is children will become filled with rage. Children, you take their iPad, they start hitting wall, filled with rage. Another prediction is the truthful will be called the liar, and the liar will be called truthful. And that's what we see now. Another prediction is bribery will become the norm. Another prediction is people will not pray their prayers correctly, and they are just busy with life forgetting their prayer. Another prediction is time will pass very fast, and we experience this right now. This prediction, we experience it right now. Barakah will be taken out of time, and that's what we see now. You feel like your day off just moved way too fast. You didn't feel your day off. Another prediction is misery. People will have misery to a point where you go to the doctor, they just give you antidepressant. They don't know how to treat you. Misery will become the norm. Another prediction is the hypocrite people will rule. Another prediction is men will be with men, women will be with women. Homosexuality and lesbian will be outspread. Again, 1950s, 1940s, if somebody is homosexuality, they hide it. Now it's like normal to be homo. If your son is born into homosexuality, they look at it as normal. men will begin to look like women and women begin to look like men. Another prediction is young people will have massive wealth. We see that now. People will get rich at the age of 18, 19. We see that nowadays. Another prediction is movements will corrupt women. Women will begin to corrupt other women. They call each other to do more fahisha. Another prediction is musical will spread so much to a point where it will be on their head. And that's interpreted into what? Headphones. It will be everywhere. Music will be everywhere to a point where it's on their head. Another prediction is police will be everywhere. If there's a lot of police everywhere, the population is much more. Another prediction is mockery will be everywhere. So many mockeries. And again, this is 1400 years ago. Another prediction is a man will pass by a grave and he will wish he was in that place. Again, misery will be spread. Another prediction is women will outnumber the men. They will sway in their walk, causing others to incline towards them. We see that now. I don't gotta explain. Another prediction is women will have Bactrian camel hair. Now, if you look at the Bactrian camel, these camels are found in Persia, not in Arab. Arab never seen this camel. And if you ever Google that camel, it just has that line of hair. We see that now. Where women, they change the style to like that kind of hairstyle. Another prediction is children will be born in wedlock. Many children will grow not knowing their father. That wasn't common 100 years ago. If you look at 100 years ago, that was not common. Now, so many children don't know who their father is. That would become the norm. Another prediction is a man will obey his wife, disobey his mother, and he wouldn't treat his father kindly. We see that nowadays. Another prediction is fitna will be shown to the heart like a mat. It will be udan uda. What is udan uda? Horizontal and vertical. What is that interpreted? You can interpret into a TV, you can interpret into a phone. It will be flat like a mat. Another prediction he made, the Prophet ﷺ said with the Sahaba, and said, he told them about ruling the world and all that, and then he said, a day will come where the enemy will gather against you and they will sit in a table, and just like they split the food, they will split you up. They said, O Prophet ﷺ, will we be in small numbers? He said, no, you'll be in many. But because you went from the deen in your heart and you became it into your hand and you became materialistic, then that's what happened to you. What happened in 1914? The leaders of the world sat and they carved up the Sham. So the Sham is Syria, Lebanon, Palestine. They carved it up and they split the Ummah into pieces. That's what happened in 1914. Another prediction is wealth will be spread so much in the Ummah. Like if you look at every Muslim country, it's a rich country. Even Afghanistan, it's a poor country, but it has so much rich resources. That's why Russia invaded it, because of how much resource it has. Gold, natural resource. This is shocking. In 1973, there's a king named Saudi king. His name is Faisal. He said, I support Palestine, and I'm gonna, because what the West did in Israel, I'm gonna stop supplying the West gas. What happened? The gas went from $3 the barrel into $12. The world went into a crisis. One country did this. One country. From $3 to $12. So the CIA planned to assassinate him. Within 2 years, they had his nephew who was living in America. They had him go undercover and kill him, and he got assassinated. One Muslim country made the world go from $3 to $12. One country. So Prophet ﷺ said, you're going to be a rich ummah. You're going to have natural resources. You're going to be a powerful ummah. But the people will carve you up because Allah took the protection out. Why did Allah take the protection out? We will get into it. Another prediction is believers will wake up believers, they'll sleep sinners. So they'll wake up believing in Allah and they'll sleep sinning. Another prediction is a believer will hide himself because he's ashamed to be Muslim. So when some people hanging out with other friends, they're ashamed to say I'm Muslim. When they go out with their friends, especially in this country, they're ashamed to admit their Islam. Another prediction is, this is found in Timothy, great distance will be traveled in short period of time, which you can translate it into vehicles or airplanes, however you want. The Prophet ﷺ told us, Allah will always protect this ummah with care and love, as long as the scholars do not become hypocrite to please their leaders, as long as the righteous do not make the people who are criminals fame, look at them as role models. If they do so, Allah will lift the care up, and He will allow these people to torture them, and He will allow these people to oppress them, and they will be oppressed, hard pressed, to a point where they will be in a lot of hardship. And this beautiful hadith is found in Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Our Prophet ﷺ is telling the Sahaba, what will you do when Iraq is denied its currency? They ask him, how will it fall? He said, foreign intervention. Foreign intervention will make Iraq currency fall. And what will you do? So when he's saying what will you do, like, can you imagine? What will you do when Sham is denied its currency? Which 2011, the fall of Syria. And what will you do when Egypt currency is denied? So what does it mean for the currency to fall? It means when the currency fall, another one replaces it. And it means the whole country fall. When we take out the deen from our heart, put it in our hand, and we put the word in our heart, and that's what happened. We become too materialistic. And again, these predictions that I predicted 100 years ago, you cannot imagine these 100 years ago. Obesity, 100 years ago, couldn't be imagined. Nudity, 100 years ago in this land, nobody could imagine nudity will be everywhere. The bacterial camel, the women with bacterial camels, nobody could imagine that. Now we see it all over. Homosexuality, 100 years ago in this land, you couldn't imagine. Yeah, you had people who was homosexuality, but it wasn't the norm. 100 years ago, children's born with wedlock, that couldn't be imagined. That could not be imagined. It will become the norm. It will be everywhere. It will be spread. Music, 100 years ago, couldn't be imagined. Now it's everywhere. And now majority of the Muslims, they think that the minor signs are done. That's what they think. And we are just waiting for the major sign. No, there are every sign that I said, it already happened, or it's happening right now. There are still some minor sign that hasn't appeared yet. So the next series we're gonna do is about the minor sign that hasn't happened, and then we will talk about the major sign. So there are some minor signs that hasn't happened yet. That's it for today. Anybody have questions? Salam.